Hi everyone, it's Suyin here. Welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to bring you a video that, I thought it would be short and interesting, maybe. And I've done one like this in the past before. I'll link it up above, where we were talking about money advice that no longer applies to us. So I wanted to go down a similar theme and talk about the things that I used to tell myself about money. So let's jump straight in. So the first thing that I used to tell myself about money was that I am bad with money. And this came from my first job, where I took on very bad money habits by overspending. And I guess I took on the expensive way, where I was accumulating expensive habits of eating really good food and buying designer bags or buying a lot of clothes without having that designer salary, if you get what I mean. And I didn't feel that I was really in control of my finances, and it took me some working through in order to move away from that limiting self-belief. So what I remember very clearly was that I felt that I was bad with money and I wanted to do something about it. So it was a very conscious decision to move away from that space. And what I started with was to learn a little bit about what I could do in terms of fixing the things that I was getting myself into. So I learned about budgeting, and I learned about human psychology, and I also learned about how to invest my money. So I guess what I did was to get step-by-step little wins and to gain that confidence so that I could actually feel that I was making progress. And then I started to adopt the belief or the thought that I am actually pretty good with money, and even though I was pretty bad at the start, it doesn't mean that I always have to be. So that leads me to the second thing that I used to tell myself about money, and oddly enough, it's still to do with spending. I used to tell myself if I were to behave really well, I would actually save more money this month. And we all know that's a lie, because it's very hard to be on your best behavior all the time and to really rely on self-control and willpower. As they say, willpower is actually a muscle, and what muscles do is, with overuse or prolonged periods of use, they will fatigue, and that's when it won't work anymore and you get yourself into trouble in those times where you are tired of controlling yourself. So what I did in place of that was to actually reframe it and rework the system, which is to use the bucket system that I keep talking about. So the bucket system is just one of my favorite ways that I use to save money, or manage money more specifically. There are many different ways that you can use, but the gist of it, or the essence of it, is very simple. We just need to save the money before we even decide to spend it, and that's how we actually are able to save more money. Okay, so this leads me to the final thing that I used to tell myself about money, which is something that I'm still currently working on, and that is that money is hard to earn. This is something that I've been hearing since I was a little girl, and I used to hear the expressions, money doesn't grow on trees, money is very hard to come by, it doesn't fall out from the sky, you need to sacrifice, you need to put in the work in order to earn that sum. So because of that, I always had the impression that I really needed to work very, very hard in order to earn more money. And as we have found out, that is not normally the case. In a workplace, if you are the hardest worker, if you are not able to showcase that you are working hard and it is translating into some sort of value that your company holds important. So if you are not able to advocate that you are a great worker, employee, friend, no one's gonna know, and no one's gonna go out of their way to reward you. So this is something that I had to work on, where I had to figure out how to have that salary conversation and to negotiate up my pay. So I guess while I'm talking about this, I can really hear the belief systems in my head that conversation itself is uncomfortable, and I guess it is something that I can work on further to change, that conversation does not necessarily need to be uncomfortable or unapproachable. It could be something that is interesting, it could be something that is exciting, and it just takes some reframing to get that difficulty out of the way. So I guess that thought that money is hard to earn will apply as long as we believe it to be so. And well, I can say that even through this YouTube channel, I am able to earn some money, and it hasn't been that hard or that difficult really. It's just that when I think about making YouTube videos or when I'm preparing for them, sometimes I get in my head that it is I just overthink it sometimes, and that's when I get myself into trouble. So I guess what I'm really trying to say is, at the end of the day, what we choose to think will affect how we behave and what our actions are towards things in our lives. And as a result, it's really important to sift through our thoughts and to figure out how we're actually going about things and how we're actually thinking about them. So I guess to recap for the end of this video is that now the thoughts that I have about money are quite different. One, I do think that I am pretty good with money, much better than I was back then. Two, I can save quite a lot of money by not being on my best behavior, but by having systems in place that will definitely help me. And three, money is not that hard to earn. It just requires some willingness to try and some belief that it is actually not that difficult. So if you enjoyed this video, please remember to support this channel by giving it a like. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe down below and share this video with your friends. I will see you in the next one. Bye!